Hello friends, this is Mitul Suthar,
And I'm Krishna Kanaya.
and today we are going to learn more about the install command. So to install any chart into our Kubernetes cluster, first we need to tell kubectl to work against a specific cluster. In order to find out all the context that we have, we can run the command kubectl config and then get contexts. This will give us which Kubernetes cluster we have available. So here we are seeing that the star is against our Docker desktop. If we had other connection strings in our kubeconfig file, then we would see more clusters listed here. And if you want to change your current context, you just have to do kubectl, then do use context, and then you will provide the name of your cluster. In this case, I have provided docker-desktop, and that's how it is using this particular context.
Okay. So the star means that that's the currently selected cluster, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And do you know anything about the concept called namespace in Kubernetes?
Yes. So the namespace technology is basically like used to segregate between the different cluster and keep all the connected uh, infrastructure in logically separated into one container sort of thing.
So let's say I'll explain. So a namespace is just like a resource group in Azure. It's
Mm-hmm.
a logical way for you to group all your related resources in a Kubernetes cluster,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you may have a production, um, applications,
Mm-hmm.
services, all that stuff grouped by a production namespace.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a development related resource into dev namespace,
Mm-hmm.
or you can have a namespace by a different by a particular project.
Right.
So first we will create kubectl create namespace
Mm-hmm.
called Helm testing,
Okay.
and all the commands for Helm that we are going to run for the installation of our software we will run against this namespace.
Okay.
So we would like to install the WordPress application into our cluster in this Helm testing namespace.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to do that, first we need to learn what the install command does. To
Right.
find more information about the install command, you can do helm install and then help. This will display all the help information for the install command. It
Mm-hmm.
also gives you some examples on how to use this command. For
Okay.
example, here are some of the examples. Helm install, you can provide a YAML file and then provide the name of your release and the path to your chart if it is on your local machine.
Okay.
So let's break down the command. So you can do helm install, and then you can provide a name of your release. Let me go full from the top. So Helm install, then you have to provide a name of your release. So I
Mm-hmm.
will say WordPress, and then you have to provide the name of your repository slash name of your chart. So
Okay.
Bitnami, and I will say WordPress.
Mm-hmm.
So my WordPress, this name,
Yeah.
it's called a release name. What that
Okay.
means is that when we are installing this chart into our Kubernetes cluster, it is creating an instance of this WordPress software.
Okay.
I can install this WordPress chart a second time by providing a new name called WordPress 2, and this will create a second release into my Kubernetes cluster.
Okay.
If I don't provide anything after this command, it is going to install into my default namespace.
All right.
So we will say minus minus namespace call Helm testing to
Mm-hmm.
install into our Helm testing namespace in our Kubernetes cluster.
Okay.
Let's say if this was our production cluster, we don't want to just install random software into our cluster without knowing the detailed impact of this installation. So a quick way to find out what this chart is going to do is by using the dry run command.
Mm-hmm.
By executing this command, what happens is it takes all the YAML files that are in those charts, in this,
Mm-hmm.
for example, in this WordPress chart, and then it replaces the values in these YAML files and gives you these production ready YAML files that will run in your Kubernetes cluster.
Okay.
So if I go at the top, when I run this command, I can see the name of my release as my WordPress.
Mm-hmm.
It is also showing me in which namespace it is going to install. In
Mm-hmm.
this case, it is a Helm testing. Status is showing pending install,
Mm-hmm.
and I can run the command Helm status my WordPress, and then I can say namespace Helm testing to find
Mm-hmm.
out the status of this installation, whether this finished or not. In this case, it is showing like Helm, the release it didn't find this release.
Mm-hmm.
So let's find out why it is doing that.
Because I think we did a dry run and we didn't install it.
Yes.
Okay.
So we first need to install this. So my bad. I should have installed this first.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good catch.
Okay. So now it is installed. So now
Now
we
it is
can
this
see this.
install. In the status, we can see it is deployed.
Mm-hmm.
So now we can run the command status
Mm-hmm.
and we can see that it has successfully deployed.
Okay. Right.
So the status command is given to us because you may have a command, you may have a chart that takes a long time to install.
Mm-hmm.
Helm does not take the control while it is running. It will execute the command and give you control back right away so you can install other charts or do other commands against your cluster.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an advantage of this status command.
Okay.
So let's do another one. So to Helm install, and if I provide another name, I can create another release. So this one is taking time,
Yeah.
but now we can see that it
Fine.
has created this another release called my WordPress 2, and that is also
Mm-hmm.
deployed.
Mm-hmm.
A quick way to check all your releases in your cluster is by doing Helm ls, and you can provide the namespace
Mm-hmm.
Helm testing. This will list all those two releases. Here we can see my WordPress and my
Right.
WordPress 2. These are the two releases in our cluster.
Okay.
What else?
So
So
now,
for the install command, we can see all the other parameters as well. So let's explore what else the help command, install command can do for us. So I provided the name of the release.
mm-hmm.
If you provide this -g flag, then it can generate a name for you. So you don't have to provide my like WordPress name of your release.
Mm-hmm.
It can generate the name for you.
Okay. So it will be like uh, character numeric or numeric character or anything
Hmm.
we cannot. So is there any format for that or
No,
can we?
since it generates the name, it generates it automatically for us. So let's say we will do that to see what it generates. Because I have streaming software installed, it is taking a while to execute these commands. But you can see it
Mm,
generated then WordPress is the name of the
mm,
chart, and it appends a random generated string here,
okay.
like a number.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There are other options in the install command. like you can set the values. You can replace the default values that are provided in the chart and provide your own values
Mm-hmm.
by using this command. We will look
Mm,
into setting the values in the next video.
mm-hmm.
You can provide your values in a file.
Okay. So this file will be a YAML file.
Yeah, you can provide as a YAML file.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's all for today's video. See you in the next video.